Hey everybody, Brian the Wild Armenian, rat ride, carport, builder, mechanic, real estate investor, old fart, just don't, whatever you'd call me, don't call me late for lunch. Yeah, it's been about 10 days, I think it's been, since I made my last video. And sorry about that. You might see these Pesskill commercials, they came back. Oh well, maybe I'll make that big money, YouTube money. Woo! Oh, it is what it is, you know. I think we got it all settled out with my AdSense, with you Google, and they've been working with me. It looks like they've been working with me. You know, I got to wait. Oh, wait a minute. I think I'm already past my probation time. Who knows? Whatever. I'm having fun with it, though, too. That's what matters. You know, if I'm not, if I'm not having fun, then, you know, something's seriously wrong. And, you know, and that a lot of that, you know, has a lot to do with everything about being retired. And there's a lot of topics here I'm going to cover today, I think, because I got a lot on my mind. I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos and other retired channels, and, you know, and they're really neat, and some of the stuff I can really identify, you know, because I've been going through it. And then at church, I do security work at church. It's a shame we got to do that nowadays, places of worship, but that's I guess kind of the new norm in this country. With shootings at churches and schools, you know, and college campus. It's just sad, you know, that we got this day and age. But I do it at the church for free. You know, I donate my time, and I'm excited about it. And I sit out in the lobby, you know, and I'm armed. I'm armed right now, you know, and so, you know, I mean, I get to talk to people, interact with people in the lobby, which is really great. I mean, it's I don't know, don't take it wrong. I'm kind of enjoying it, actually, sitting in the church, sitting in the lobby. I enjoy it, and I really get to talk to people, and I become friends with the people, and they know when I'm not showing up to church, I don't feel good, you know, my conditions, you know, my irritable bowel syndrome I had. So I had a cancer operation many years ago, colon cancer. So some mornings are a real challenge. And, you know, what this video is about, you know, I retired at 65, and I could have retired. I'm a boomer. I could have retired at the age of 62. Oh boy, I wanted to, trust me. But I waited until Medicare kicked in. I think that was a big change. You know, a lot of people got that snipe insurance or whatever. And I don't know. I was kind of horrified, didn't trust it. So I waited, and you know, and 65 is actually early for me. My full retirement age would be 66 and 8 months, or 70 for the bigger. And I just, no. So here's the deal. Sitting in the lobby, that's why I was brought up doing the security work there at the church, helping out. And I talked to this one guy I always talk to every Sunday there. And he's older than me, actually. I'm 66, and he's 73. That's what he said. Yeah, 73. And we got to talking about retirement, you know, and I told him, I said, yeah, I you know, just what I just shared to y'all, you know, I retired at 65 when the Medicare kicked in, and I told him, trust me, man, I was ready at 62 or even early. And he went ahead and told me that, well, I retired at the age of 60, and I go, wow, you know, 62 is and I go, wow, you know, I didn't ask him. It's his business what he's got money-wise and all that. But, you know, I thought to myself, well, he did pretty good for himself. He didn't have to wait for Social Security. He apparently had money, and he's driving a pretty decent truck and all that. So he's doing all right for himself. And, and you know, and the premise of my video, I don't know if I brought this up, is there's no perfect retirement, you know, and that's what I'm trying to get at with all this. He was telling me that he wished he never retired. And it's not financial. You know, I know it ain't financial problem. He's, you know, but he said, you know, he felt like all these years, well, let's say he's 13 years retired, okay? And he felt his body's wore down because he didn't retire. He would have been more in motion if he would have kept working. Now my brother is about the same age. He's 60 or 72, and he don't want to retire. And he's got the money. You know, he can do it. He makes damn good money, but it's not that. And he tells me the same thing. I've known other people, and here's the thing, though. He went on to tell me, this guy said, "Yeah, I just got forced to retire." And I go, "Oh, you know," I go, "Okay, he must have got, maybe they're closing his department down or whatever." And he says, "Well, before I killed my boss." I go, "Whoa, oh, geez." And I got to thinking to myself, yeah, you know what? My attitude was really sorry at the end, you know, about things. I mean, when I turned 62, I mean, there's people nowadays, and forgive me for this, but you got to watch what you say to people, you know, because if I say, "Hey, boy," and I'm not talking, you know, that's racist or something, you know, you're going to get reported to HR. And some people, you just, you know, like, you know, and some of the younger people are just cocky, you know what I'm saying, and very disrespectful. So I remember that kind of stuff. And when he said that, I go, "Whoa," you know. He goes, "Yeah, I was just not," he said he wasn't happy. The boss he got was a young punk, excuse my language, younger than him, you know, of course. And, you know, and he said, "Nah, his fuse was ready tonight." And he retired. And he could do it well. But he wished he would have worked, you know. And you know, and I thought about that, you know, and going back to what I was thinking, you know, I didn't really like the people I worked with. I didn't like to spend 8 hours of my life every day with people. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't hate them or anything, but, you know, people I would never hang around with. You know what I'm saying? Spend 8 hours of my life every day with people I would normally hang around with anyway, you know? I'd rather spend it with my animals, my dog, my wife, you know, children, somebody, you know, friends, than around people all day long. Well, of course, we had to make money. Absolutely. You know, pay bills and all that horse junk, you know, of course. That's why we did it. And we all have to do that when we're working. Some people are just happy. They love their job. I've known people that retired from their job and they cried. You know, the day they retired, they were like depressed and crying. And I never could understand that one. I'm going, I'd be going, "Yeah, and this person's actually, you thought we were going to shoot, you thought they were going to shoot themselves. That's how depressed they were. I mean, wow. But I get it, you know, they enjoyed their job and that was their life, that was their identity. Well, so was mine too, you know, working, you know, I'd done it ever since I was 14, I guess. I had to get a note signed from my parents so I could go get a job, a work experience. So, you know, I mean, I get it too, you know, you change your life. And that's a lifestyle change, you know, and it's a culture shock, I guess what I'm trying to say. That's what the right word is, a culture shock, you know, to some people. To me, I was ready to run. Matter of fact, a woman owns a whole corporation I worked for, and I worked on the horse farm she owns, her private residence. Hell, it was like, she owned 4,000 acres, you know, and I'm a mechanic. I had 2 guys under me. But, you know, they owned a corporation. Her son, you know, ran the corporation. He was up in the big wig. And now, mind you, I worked for the private residence of the people who own the corporation. But her son, he was laughing. I was laughing the day I told him I'm retiring, you know. And he's going, "Wow, somebody actually retired working for my mom." She was hard, man. She was hard. She'd fire people had 20 years, 25 years. You know, of course, they screwed up. But, you know, it wouldn't faze her. And he just thought that was great. I was laughing. He was laughing, you know. And I could just see it. He's going, "Man, you did pretty good, man." "Brian, you did good." I said, "Yeah, I did, Rob." You know, and we laughed about that. And, you know, and that's the truth, too. You know, I got through it, and I retired from a person that was really hard to work with, you know, and I did it. And it was good. It was all good experience. You know, I'm not knocking any of it by all means, but I'm glad I'm retired because I had to work with the people that I just Oh boy, I'd have to say the serenity prayer a lot of times. God, grant me the serenity, accept the things I cannot change and the people I cannot control. No, the wisdom to know the difference. Yeah, it's just wow. Some of the times I've been but perfect retirement. Getting back to what I'm sorry, I'm rambling. So work with me here, or don't work if you're retired. Don't just hear me out. And I'm drinking coffee, okay? So, but anyway, oh God, this is all good. But, there's no really perfect way of retiring. Really, there isn't. People get hung up. I even talk about, getting a budget and Dave Ramsey, and you hear a lot of other people on YouTube, that's retirement. And, yeah, it is that. It's best to get a course. I'm a big advocate about can't even talk right. Getting a budget, course, getting your debts all paid, being debt free, having a nest egg and all that good stuff, investments, of course. But there's more to that than that, Now there's people have had unfortunate situations in their life, and it wasn't because they were a bad or they just blew their money and recklessly spent their money. Things happen to people. Cancer, deaths, people lose loved ones. And some people, just went bankrupt from business deals that went wrong. And that's happened. '08, a lot of the housing crash. There was a guy I knew that was on top of he was flying in a Learjet. This guy had properties and business. And when '08 happened, nobody's seen him for a year or so, and then a guy spotted him. He was a waiter at a restaurant. Here's a guy who went from a Learjet waiting tables 2 years later because he lost everything, So, and that happens. So there's what I'm trying to get at there. There's a channel I watch a lot. It's called Cheaper RV. And a guy out there in Arizona, he's always driving around and up in the mountains in Colorado. And he always interviews people that living in campers. And these people, a lot of them, all they got is their Social Security. And some of them got a few bucks saved, and they live in RVs. And they manage, they manage their lives. And they live, and they live pretty comfortable. Now, a lot of people go, well, that ain't no retirement. Yeah, but for them it is, and they're doing okay with it. At least they claim they are. And this one guy, he's always got people he works with, and they seem to be all happy. It's a freedom. They're talking about a freedom. So you can't really say they're not happy until you try it. So that's one way of retirement. Now, before I retired, I got to talking about, I was always a mechanic all my life, and I had my own shop, and then I worked for these people, ran their shop, and, I also did real estate, investing in property and stuff, such like that, buying foreclosure houses. But, when I was sitting at the office before I retired, like a few years before, I remember I doing security work part-time. And '08, when things were bad, I picked up a part-time job. I got a security license. So part-time, I would work at the hospital, work for some movie stars, that kind of stuff. Worked at the college, did security. And and in the state of Florida, you got to be licensed, and go through school and all that to be that. And so over the years, I kept my license, and I got away from it. I'm done with it, And I kept my license because I thought, the day comes, I might retire. I might want to do that part-time. So I was planning on working part-time. Nothing wrong with that. I'm age 66. I still got the license. Am I going to do it? I don't know. We'll see. This is how I feel, But I always said that. I'm going to get a part-time gig. I always thought about that. Some people think it's a badge of disgrace to be this age and go get a job like you were a failure in life or something. Nah, not at all. Not at all. I think really if I didn't have all these projects like this truck and the gardens, I got to start to water. See, I got to water the vegetable garden. I forgot to do that. Oops. But anyway, and it's slow for me going in the morning. But, I don't know. Maybe I would get a part-time job, and get interactive with people and do something I want. And that's the thing, something that makes me happy, and that's it, So what is a perfect retirement? And it's not the dollar sign, really. It's not the dollar sign of how much you got or what you got. It's how you feel inside and how you cope with it. And that's it. And coping with retirement today, there's a lot of things. Now I'm going on 1 year and 5 months. I've been retired, full-time retirement, and haven't worked. And like today, there's been a woodpecker pecking at my Chevy Impala and my GMC truck. I don't know what the deal is. A few days ago, I'm chasing a woodpecker around, yelling at a woodpecker. and I sit back and laugh about it. I'm going, Jesus, this thing's going to break my mirror. But my wife went over and put a rag over my mirror, and I think he was wanting to look at himself. Or thought it was another, who knows, trying to mate my car. I don't know. But anyway, and it's things like that. Birds. There's some cardinals flying around here. My dog Scooby, he's been sick, but he's better now. Daisy's been sick too, my other dog, and they got a hold of a cat. Oh my Lord. That was awful, but the cat's okay. It took off. I don't think it's coming back in the yard. And, there's kind of an excitement drama here. And so there's never a dull moment. I don't know. I don't have to sit on a beach, somewhere or be on a golf course. I'm having fun in my own yard. It seems like something happens. Go to the church, interact with people, and that's great. Got my gardens. And to be honest with you, I don't really know how I had time to work. It seems like the days go by faster, and I wish they'd slow down a little bit because I don't want to get older. I'm waiting another month. My wife is going to retire full time. We're going to go to St. Augustine, Florida. Her niece is graduating in Jacksonville, and we're going to make a little bit of mini vacation. So I can't wait till she retires, and then we'll do like mini vacation stuff. We'll just get in the car and say, let's go to the beach. Let's drive down to the Keys. It's only about 5 hours away, or let's just go to Daytona. That's only an hour and a half away, or something. We'll just go. We'll go up the coast, A1A up the coast of, Northeast America. Who knows? But, I can't wait for that. So that's another chapter in my retirement. I can't wait till she full-time retirement, And so that's it. There's no really perfect way to retire. Just do it. Make sure, of course, your P's and Q's, dot your X's and O's. Make sure all your payments are down, and you're debt free if you can be, that would help, And with that, y'all, I don't know if I was even making any sense to you, but it made sense to me. I just enjoy doing these videos, and I really enjoy you folks watching my videos and the comments. And I really do. I really enjoy doing these videos. It's fun, and I kind of look forward to it. And I like the kind of community with YouTube and the retirement people too. I think I just get a blast. It's fun, it really is. And who would ever thought, So there's a lot of things important today. Lord Jesus Christ, my wife, I better say that. My children, my family, I love them. My friends, and you folks. Oh, my country. Yeah, go right, red, white, and blue, United States. And you folks, by all means, do me a favor. Take good care of yourself. God bless you.